In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to set up a leopard gecko enclosure. This is a 20-gallon tank. I'm also gonna be showing the 40-gallon version of this as well. I'm gonna show you how to set up the lights, exactly how I set up my leopard gecko tanks, as well as showing up if you don't want to use lights and you want to use a heat mat, I'll show you that as well. But I have all the decorations, everything you need to set up a tank. You get it from PetSmart or Petco or any other reptile store. So let's get into this, shall we? So if you had a leopard gecko for a long time, or you just got a leopard gecko and you want to start off in a 20-gallon tank for a baby, that's perfectly fine. But if you have an adult, I would recommend starting in a 40-gallon tank. So if you do have a baby, this is how I would set mine up, as if you had a baby, if you will. If you are going to go with the heat mat, I will say make sure, most people forget this and most people don't do this, but you need a thermostat. A thermostat is incredibly important for a heat mat and a heat lamp, but it's more important for a heat mat because these heat mats can get 140 degrees, 150 degrees, and if you have it on a tank, a lot of people use 10-gallon tanks, unfortunately, which is small, and those heat mats might cover the entire bottom of the tank, and if it's 140 degrees, they're gonna have no way to escape. They're gonna be glass surfing. It's not a fun time for leopard gecko, but we're gonna go ahead and start off with just a heat lamp. Usually you want it like half the tank or smaller. This is gonna be half the tank right here. You can just tape it to the bottom. It's very easy. If you put it on the bottom like so, like that, and when you have it like that, you're gonna plug the heat mat plug it into the thermostat right here, and then you plug the thermostat into the wall like so. But it has a probe to read the heat mat, so we can turn the heat mat off once it gets too hot. Put the probe inside of the tank like so, right on top of the heat mat, and then set it at like 100 degrees. So that way when it gets 100 degrees, it can shut off and it doesn't get too hot for your leopard gecko. Easy. Now, let's go and throw this out because I don't use this. Now, if you have a wood terrarium, like this is glass, and you usually put on the glass for wood, you usually put it on the inside. Same type of thing. If you put it on the inside, put the thermostat right on top, the probe thermostat right on top. But, okay, so if I have an empty enclosure, what type of substrate am I gonna use? Now, myself, I use topsoil mixed with play sand, a little bit of excavator clay, a little bit of Exoterra Stone Desert, because it just works I love that. It works amazing. Today, we're gonna be using Repti soil mixed with Repti sand. And I have some other stuff in there as well because I accidentally mixed it with my topsoil and play sand bioactive mix. So it's gonna be like a conglomerate. But if you want to use like a similar substrate, a whole bag, a 10-quart bag of Repti soil, and then half a bag, a 10-pound bag of Repti sand. That sounds really, like, I feel like I messed that up. I'm sorry. Anyways, we're just gonna get the soil, and it is moist. That's okay because it'll dry out over time. Doesn't matter. A lot of times people freak out over humidity for these animals. Don't have to freak out. We're just gonna pour it in like so. And as you can tell, there's leaves in there. It's my bioactive mix. And if I'm yelling in this, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Now that might have been too much. So one thing working, I love substrate. Substrate is awesome. I use it in all my tanks. But when you use substrate for lizards, a lot of lizards love to burrow. They just love to burrow. And when I use rocks that are heavy, real rocks from outside, you can use pavers from Lowe's or Home Depot. They're like 30 cents a piece. It's super cheap. You find them in the patio section outside. They cost like 60 cents. You get a bunch, and you could use that instead of the rocks if you live in a like suburban area where you just can't get rocks from outside or a lake or something like that. Just go to Home Depot, buy pavers. It doesn't look as good, but it works exactly the same. However, what I like to do is a lot of times I will just kind of put maybe a little bit so it doesn't like, you know, shatter the glass or just like make like awful sounds. Anyways, I use a rock like this, bam, and I put it on the bottom as close as I can to the glass. And the reason I do that is because when you put substrate in with lizards, a lot of times, that's why I don't like reptile carpet. They can't burrow. But when you, like, especially leopard geckos love to burrow. And when they burrow, you don't want them to burrow under the rock and then like it falls on them, right? You want the substrate to be around the rock, and then you can make a rock on top of that so they could burrow. I'll show you what I mean. But anyways, I do this right here, and I'll just cover that up a little bit on that side. And then I'll get another rock, like say this one right here. And this one's a little bit shorter. But this is what I'll do, like this, and I'll get it like close as I can to it, like so. It's gonna be a little lopsided, that's okay. So it's pretty much on the glass. If he digs, it's not gonna fall on him. Anyways, I will cover most of that up, like this, right? So that way, it still looks very good, whatnot. But it makes almost like a new cave as well. If he wants to hide in here and make a hide, it's gonna be very awesome. And that's what I'll do next, is I'm gonna make a hide out of the rocks. I do this quite a bit with all my stuff because it's basically you're making a natural hide. If you go out herping and you go looking for lizards outdoors, this is how you're gonna find them: under rocks, under tree branches, under pieces of tin, under junk. I know it's kind of crazy if you think about that, but a lot of times I find tons of lizards under like things, like just human garbage. I don't know why, but they really like living under human garbage. That sounds crazy if you think about it, but I'm telling you, if you go in a backyard and you start lifting up like tarps or something, you're gonna find animals under there. And you lift up pieces of wood, you might find insects under there. It's weird like that, right? So this is how I have it set up, like this. Put some more substrate on this side. I like deep substrate, man. That's what I do. Anyways, I'll have it like this. And this right here is gonna create an amazing natural looking hide. And then we get another rock and we'll put it like this. In this case, we're gonna need more rocks. So we got another rock. I'm gonna put it right here. And it's all, I love stacking rocks because then you don't have to worry so much. There we go, anchored in place. Bam, it's perfectly in place. Kind of creates a natural hide for the leopard gecko to go into. And then I will cover this back end up to give them more privacy. That way it just kind of seems almost like a natural area. And then this will be on hotspot. We're gonna add another hide, just a regular hide, nothing too special, nothing too crazy, just a regular hide. And I'm gonna use a piece of cork bark, and I'm gonna put it right here. Like right there. I'm gonna put it on that side. But it's leopard geckos love a human hide. With natural substrate, you really don't honestly need a human hide because you could just moisten the soil and it will be a human hide. But my leopard geckos love the Zilla human hide. Not the one with the hole on top, but the rock layer. I use a medium. If you have a baby, you might use a small. But for my adults, I use a medium Zilla rock layer, and they love that thing. They spend all night or all day in there, and they come out at nighttime to lay on the basking spot. They absolutely love it. All my leopard geckos love that thing. And that's what we're gonna place right here. I'm gonna place it right here, but I am gonna put another hide on the hot side right around here, like this, if I can. There we go. Maybe not. This is what I'm doing. We're gonna do it like that. So it's almost like, he has a lot of, if he wants to go hide, he has a lot of places to go hide. And it's like a nice little, he could come in through here, go underneath, and he could come out through here if he wants to. It's a nice, like, den. It's a den on the hot side, but he also has other places on the cool side if he wants to go there as well. And also, I'm gonna get another piece of decoration right here. I'm gonna put that one right there in case he wants to go in this little log at one point in time. And then we need the Zilla rock layer. And also, you can use fake plants as well. It's not gonna matter. I'm gonna put this one right here because, like, you know, it is kind of, you know, I usually use, with this substrate, you can use live plants. You just need lighting. If you want to do live plants for the substrate, all you need is LED lights. You get like our Arcadia Jungle Dawn, or you could get like an LED light from like a Walmart. Any household LED daylight bulb will grow lights. You don't need a special grow light. Well, did I say will grow lights? I meant will grow plants. It will grow plant. Any LED daylight, 5000K plant household bulb will grow plants. I don't know why that was so forgive me. I'm not in my right mind right now. I don't know what's going on, but I could not say that for the life of me. So for a baby, this is how I do it, and I would just upscale it, obviously, for an adult. Do the exact same style. Now, this is my style. If you want to make it a little different, that's okay. Like, this is just personality. This is kind of how I like to decorate my stuff. If you want to copy it and then progress on it and make it better, that would be totally awesome. You can join my Discord and show me how you decorate your tanks, because everyone decorates differently. That's totally fine. But really, you just want a warm hide, a humid hide, a cool hide, some climbing, some places, because most lizards like to hide. You know, they don't sit out in the sun all day long because there are birds and predators that come to eat them, but they will come out, obviously. But they do like to go have places to run to hide from predators. That's like if you ever seen a lizard in the wild and it sees you and it takes off to go hide, and you're like, dang, and you like went into like a little crevice or went under a tarp, because they like to hide to stay away from predators like birds and maybe us. But anyways, so let's get the human hide. Okay, and I'll put my human hide right here. I know that's a lot of hides, but like I said, they like to hide, often in a lot of places. That's the way to do it. Oh, there's isopod. Now, after this, if you want to, you could add branches. I have branches right here because they will climb. They will climb around at nighttime. If you wanted to add some branches, you totally can. And how you add them is totally up to you. If I were to do it, maybe I would do something like this right here. You know, something a little cool, a little crazy. Maybe something across over here, like so. kind of getting wild with it, kind of getting crazy. But I don't know if I want so much on the basking spot though. Like maybe just mess around with it, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of like have fun with it. And once you start adding stuff in, it's kind of crazy. I don't know, like to me, this is kind of a neat, like almost cluttered area, because a lot of times when you find lizards, it's always in like extremely cluttered areas. However, I think I will leave this one out for now. But to me, this is a great enclosure. Amazing. I got my rocks from outside, my sticks from outside, the cork bark from Pangea Reptile, Amazon, the dirt from Home Depot. Anyways, after this is done, as you can see right here, this is a done enclosure. Oh, never mind. It's not. I forgot about the food bowls. Almost forgot. Now we're going to put the food bowls in here in the calcium dish. And well, you technically can just put the food bowls like when you feed. But yeah, I guess it is a little cluttered. You want them to find this stuff. So oh man, I don't really want to take this one out. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put this one kind of like right here. I'll put this one right here. So he can walk over here and this will be, he can feed. No, I am gonna have to, okay. So I am gonna have to take this one out. Darn it, this was really cool. I really like this one too. Anyways, we're gonna take that one out. Let's go ahead and put a food bowl. And I like to put the food bowl in the water dish on the cool side. That way it doesn't evaporate so easy. If you put the food dish too close to the hot side, like and you put mealworms in there, the mealworms will turn into beetles, the same with superworms. The dubias will try to escape. Usually if you put something in like an escape-proof container on this side, it won't escape too much because, you know, it's cooler, doesn't want to escape. So what I use a lot of times, I do use like the pet bowls, but I like to use these little like clay pot dishes for the water bowl. It is like porous, I guess, so like sometimes the water does seep through, but I don't know why, it works really well. My leopard geckos really like this. Now you don't have to use this is just something I use, but I will just put this right there in the corner. And if you have isopods, they're gonna live under that, I guarantee you. And then you could put the mealworm one right beside it. And darn it, I don't have enough room. Here, okay, so we're gonna put it this way. Right there. Bam! The food dishes and the water dish is complete. All right, now we are done with setting this up. Let's get to the lighting part. Now for lighting, this is incredibly simple, but I see a lot of people get it wrong all the time. I use the Repti basking spot lamp. You can use a halogen 50 watt as well. For a 20 gallon, a 50 watt will do you. For a 40 gallon, a 75 watt will do you for leopard gecko. I use a 50 watt lamp right here. You can put a thermostat on this as well, and I would put it like in between the rock crevices. I'll show you that. But how we're gonna set the light up, we're gonna put it like right here on top of the rocks, and you can put it by the wood as well. And what you're gonna do next is you're gonna get your Arcadia Shade Dweller. This is a great UVB, 7% Arcadia Shade Dweller, a great UVB for leopard gecko. But what people get wrong is they do it like this. They put it over here, or they do it like this. You do not want to do this. You want it like directly, the lamp has to be directly in the middle of this UVB bulb, because in the middle of the UVB bulb is where it's going to be the strongest. So that's where you want it. Now this is a little high, I will say. So I may have to take that. Dang it. Well, if this was a 40 gallon, it wouldn't be an issue. But as you can tell, this is why bigger is always better. People always get freaked out. But if this was a 40 gallon, this would work. I'm gonna take this out. Now, say you had a 40 gallon tank, you're gonna do the exact same thing. If you have an empty 40 gallon tank, you're gonna put the substrate in. I like to fill the substrate all the way up to the lip of the terrarium. And then you're just gonna put some hides. Again, the hides could be anything. I like to build my hides out of rocks, like you see right here. I put it on the hot side. I put some cork bark for other hides as well. I'll just throw a bunch of branches in there, a water bowl. You can put the food bowl in there when you feed them. You're gonna put the lamps the exact same way. And the Shade Dweller works for the 40 gallon as well, so you don't have to worry about that. For a 40 gallon, I will say, go with a 75 watt bulb to start off with, and that should do you. I was to set up the thermostat, and I had the probe. I would put the probe, I would honestly place it maybe like around here. Maybe like, I don't know. I would probably, I don't know. Maybe like, because I don't want when the heat lamp's gonna be hitting the thermostat, I don't want to, I'm gonna put it right here. I will put it right around here, because I don't want the heat lamp, just the heat from the lamp, the radiation. Okay. Well then, okay, it doesn't want to work there. All right, well then, okay. The suction cup, there we go. That's where I would put the thermostat. and this heat lamp is right on top of the rocks. And what's gonna happen is all of this heat's gonna get trapped in the rocks, and then that's why I love using heat lamps, is because it mimics the sun, and this is exactly what happens in the wild. When in the wild, when the lights go off, the leopard geckos come out, they sit on the rocks, and it's wonderful. So the heat rocks are gonna absorb all that heat, and then when the heat lights go off, it's gonna simulate a sundown, and it gets cooler at night, but things still trap the heat, so there will still be like heat radiating from the rocks throughout the night to keep the tank warm and not freezing cold. And in the morning, when it finally everything cools off, bam, the lights come right back on. And again, the Arcadia Shade Dweller right here. We are done. Plug everything up. Bam! You are correct. And like I said, if you want to do bioactive, put an LED. You could honestly put an LED lamp like almost right beside this area right here, so it's just like super bright. It doesn't really matter because it's just gonna brighten up the whole cage regardless. But this is what I would do to set up a leopard gecko tank. I hope I was of help in some way. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, drop those down below. If you want to get deeper and dive deeper, join my Discord and we can talk there.